Imagine being away from home for 20 years, 10 years fighting in one of history's greatest wars, and another 10 years getting spectacularly lost on the way back. That's Odysseus, the king of Ithaca. Why was he gone so long? First, he helped the Greeks win the Trojan War with one of the greatest military tricks ever, convincing everyone to hide inside a giant wooden horse, which the Trojans dragged into their city. Bad idea. The Greeks climbed out at night, opened the gates, and won the war. But on his journey home, Odysseus made one tiny mistake. He blinded Polyphemus, the one-eyed Cyclops who just happened to be the son of Poseidon, the god of the sea. After escaping, Odysseus couldn't resist bragging and yelled his real name back at the Cyclops. Polyphemus prayed to his dad for revenge, and Poseidon basically said, "Oh, you're getting home," eventually. Then he spent the next decade making Odysseus' life absolutely miserable. While Odysseus was wandering the seas, his wife Penelope had her own battle to fight back in Ithaca. Everyone assumed Odysseus was dead, so over 100 arrogant suitors moved into the palace, ate all the family's food, drank all the wine, and demanded that Penelope choose a new husband. She cleverly delayed them by promising she'd marry once she finished weaving a funeral shroud for Odysseus' father. Every day she wove the cloth, and every night she secretly unraveled everything she'd done. She kept that trick going for years until someone finally caught her. And who was secretly helping Odysseus the whole time? Athena, the goddess of wisdom. She admired his intelligence and constantly stepped in with advice, disguises, protection, and just enough divine intervention to stop his journey from becoming an even bigger disaster. His trip home was basically a checklist of impossible survival challenges. He escaped the Laestrygonians, a race of giant cannibals who destroyed almost his entire fleet by smashing ships with massive boulders. He then met the witch Circe, who turned his crew into pigs with enchanted food and wine. Thanks to a magical herb given by Hermes, Odysseus resisted her spell, forced her to change his men back, and even stayed on her island for a year. Later, he sailed past the Sirens, whose beautiful songs hypnotized sailors into crashing their ships onto the rocks. Curious to hear the song without dying, Odysseus ordered his crew to plug their ears with beeswax and tie him tightly to the ship's mast. No matter how much he begged or screamed, they weren't allowed to untie him until they were safely past. His greatest tragedy came near the end of the journey. Stranded on an island, his starving crew ignored repeated warnings and slaughtered the sacred cattle of Helios, the sun god. Helios demanded justice from Zeus, who destroyed their ship with a thunderbolt. Every single crew member died. Odysseus was the only survivor. When he finally reached Ithaca after 20 exhausting years, Athena disguised him as an old beggar. She did this because the palace had been taken over by the suitors, who almost certainly would have killed him if they recognized him immediately. The disguise let Odysseus secretly find out who was still loyal, reunite with his son Telemachus, and carefully plan his revenge before revealing who he really was. To prove his identity, Penelope announced a contest using Odysseus's enormous bow, a weapon so difficult that none of the suitors could even string it. Disguised as a beggar, Odysseus effortlessly strung the bow and fired an arrow cleanly through 12 axe heads, something only he could do. Then he revealed himself and, with the help of Telemachus and a few loyal servants, defeated every last suitor. But Penelope still wasn't completely convinced. After all, anyone could claim to be Odysseus. So she gave him one final test. She told a servant to move their marriage bed. Odysseus immediately became upset and insisted it was impossible because he had personally built that bed around the trunk of a living olive tree rooted deep in the ground. The room had literally been built around it, meaning the bed could never be moved unless someone cut down the tree. That was the proof Penelope needed. The secret of the bed was known only to the two of them. No imposter could have known that. At last, after 20 years of war, monsters, gods, shipwrecks, and unbelievably bad